All right, all right, all right. Glad Monday's coming to an end. Basically, what isn't pissing me off today? This is The Block. I am your host, per usual, Kyle Johnston. It's for the early morning coffee drinkers and the late night ponderers. So get your thinking caps on. Just like I've been putting the handicapping to work. 5-6 on the NFL. Say it's a pretty successful Sunday. Padding the bank account. Didn't really like the board too much tonight. I got a few picks for you. Obviously, you got the Monday Nighter. Monday Night Football going down. Kansas City Chiefs visiting the frozen tundra, Lambeau Field, home of the Green Bay Packers. But what isn't pissing me off today, too? Just couldn't get going today. One of those mornings, just couldn't get going. The apple I ate that made my hand all sticky pissed me off. Trying to throw together an audition package for fall fashion. To be honest with you, kind of pissed me off. I enjoyed it. Kind of pissed me off. I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into it. My original partner bailed on me, so that didn't fucking help. Not his fault or anything, but fuck, still, doesn't fucking help. Partner that, Olivia Jordan, she stepped up, did a good job. She should be proud of what she did. Me, my performance, I set a high standard for myself. Fucking weak. Fucking weak. But then again, to be honest with you, to be really honest with you, I didn't think I was ever going to get that job. Or that spot, because like it's voting in by classmates and stuff, and my classmates love me, and we get along and everything, but I'll tell you one thing, I'm not safe. I'm not a yes man. I'm not saying yes all the way up to the top. I'm a little dangerous. I like to push the fucking envelope. I like to have a little fun, and that's not safe. So I never thought it was going to happen anyways. And I got a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm hosting Wednesdays and doing the podcast here. That was just the start of a shitty day. Not to mention I just crashed last night. Went out Saturday night, had a good night, and Sunday, man, just crashed. Couldn't get anything done. Couldn't get anything done, but I did get my picks in. Good day. Bills cash. Vikings cash. Colts. Tease to the over cashes. Had to sweat that one out. My Vikings fucking pushed them. Andre Johnston, what happened to you, bud? One target, no catches, nothing. Zeros across the board. It's like Sam Mitchell. Sam Mitchell when he was the Raptors coach. When he went on that tirade when the Raptors were shit and quitting out there on the court. It's like we had guys with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 across the stat line. It's like why didn't you just stay home? Andre Johnson should have just stayed home. Too bad, Titans. Mariota. I'm seeing the evolution. I'm seeing the growth. I like it. I like it. We got a lot of young players. Dorial Green-Beckham. Look pretty good. Derek Morgan. Coming off a couple injuries. Excuse me. Derek Morgan coming off a couple injuries. Former Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He's looking pretty good right now. But I will get into some football news here. I just want to give you my picks before I get into some news, because I know all you handicappers, you want to get your picks out there. You want some information. So, like I said, speaking of the Monday Nighter, Kansas City visiting Green Bay. Green Bay's 5.5 point favorites. Over-under in this game is 47.5. Had to look at this for a little bit. I had to think twice. I had to think thrice. Do I think Green Bay can win this game? Yeah. Do I think they're going to blow them out? No. Can they win by a touchdown? Quite possibly. But I think the Chiefs are going to hang around. It's going to take one of those last-minute Aaron Rodgers drives. Hopefully for a field goal. And the Kansas City Chiefs can cover. And or win. So I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs at plus 5.5. I think Alex Smith comes to play. The way Denver's kind of rolling along here right now, the Kansas City Chiefs can't afford to fall behind. San Diego's not going to be going anywhere either. AFC West, pretty tough division. Rodgers is undefeated on Monday Nighters. I'll tell you that right now. He is undefeated on Monday Nighters. He lives for the primetime games. So he's going to come to play. I think there's going to be points to be had in this game too. I'd lean to the over. I really would. I'd lean to the over. I'm usually cautious in these Monday Nighters about the over-under, but I think this one I'd lean to the over. Jamal Charles, fumbling machine last week. He's going to come to play for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he's going to have a big game. I think he'll be able to use his speed to kind of carve up a little bit smaller Green Bay Packer defense. They're fast, but they're a little smaller. Say I look for Alex Smith to come to play. I think Macklin's going to have a big day as well. I look for Smith to Macklin to be a pretty potent combination. And I think they're going to hang around Kansas City. I think they're going to do more than hang around. I think they got a shot at this. I really do. I think you have a shot definitely to cover plus 5.5. Like if Green Bay wins, they're winning by 3 or they're winning by 7. That's one or the other. Maybe 2. Like 2 or 3. If not 7. It ain't going to be no double-digit game. Now, it has gone over in 7 of Green Bay's last 10 games. It's also gone over in 4 of Green Bay's last 5 when playing Kansas City. Green Bay is 1-6 ATS in the last 7 playing Kansas City. I like that. And Kansas City 6-1 straight up in their last 7 when they're playing in Green Bay. So we got some trends that back us up. Both teams are relatively healthy. So I looked at Monday Nighter. Be pretty damn good. Gruden's going to be like, oh, this guy's good. This guy's great. He's the best. He's not going to know when to stop because I think there's going to be points flying all over. He's going to be on Rodgers. He's going to be on Smith. He'll be on Macklin. He'll be on Charles. Oh, this guy. Fucking John Gruden. John Gruden. What a guy. Good coach, though. Good coach. I got to hand it to him, though. He's got a pretty good gig doing Monday Night Football. He's getting paid all right. A lot less pressure, a lot less stress and pressure than being a head coach in the NFL. I can tell you that much. I don't mind him either. He's a little over the top. He thinks everybody's the best. It's kind of like Colin Kaepernick. Not Colin Kaepernick. The Sunday Nighter. Chris Collinsworth. It's kind of like Chris Collinsworth. Chris Collinsworth, John Gruden, same person, just a different mouth. They think everybody's the greatest. Everybody's the best. They'd love to have everybody on their team. Remember, was it Collinsworth last night? And Denver and Detroit. Who was it? I think it was Detroit. So Detroit's first touchdown. I forget who got it. I should pull it up here actually, because I got some stats here on it. Since I'm going to get to it. I think it was, he was talking about Amir Abdullah. That's who it was. Amir Abdullah scored their first touchdown. He made a pretty good fucking play. And like Collinsworth is like, you get this guy the ball and he's just unstoppable. I'm like, really? If he was just unstoppable, how come he didn't score on his other 3 touches? No, they just happened to run a good fucking route and a good play and caught them fucking napping. And they were fucking pretty damn close to the fucking, he scampered into the fucking end zone. You get this guy the ball, he's just unstoppable. Chris Collingsworth. No, he is stoppable because the first 3 times he touched the ball, he didn't do anything with it. That's what I mean. They're just a little over the top. They know their shit, though. They know their shit. But I'm just going to move on to the diamond here. Got a few picks on the diamond for you. So just before I get there, once again, Kansas City Chiefs plus 5.5. I'm on them. I'm going to ride them on the Monday Nighter. The over-under is 47.5. I would lean to the over. But I will be on the Kansas City Chiefs plus 5.5. Now on to the diamond. With the playoffs right around the corner. I can't walk around Toronto without seeing Blue Jays. There's fucking Blue Jays everywhere. Sick and fucking tired of it. I can't stand it. They are playing good baseball, so there's nothing really I can say. It's like sticking a dagger into my heart each time. I'm sick and tired of seeing just the Blue Jay emblem all over the place. Blue Jay fashion. That's the fall fashion. It's the in thing right now. Blue Jays around the GTA. Tickets are fucking hot right now. Leafs who? Keep saying that. Leafs who? Who? What? Leafs? And one thing though, another thing fucking pissing me off. Before I get to this, like I'm just furious today about things are just pissing me off. I keep hearing about Josh Donaldson. Oh, there hasn't been a guy this well liked and this hyped up in the city since, they're trying to go back to the old days, Dougie Gilmore and stuff like that. Oh, there's nobody ever been hyped and played like this in Toronto before. I'm like, do you guys forget about Kyle Lowry and you guys trying to get him into the fucking All-Star game last year? It's just the fact that Kyle Lowry fucking basically quit on you guys and said, hey, thanks for the notoriety. I'll take that and run, and now I can just go back to being somewhat mediocre. Do you forget how much hype? You guys are chanting MVP for fucking Kyle Lowry. He was the big talk around Toronto. It's all you could talk about, because the Leafs sucked. So when the Leafs suck, you guys just find something else to fucking talk about. And you fucking hype that shit up, like the hype machine that they are. Don't you, it pisses me off. Oh, there's no, yeah, there was somebody in this city that was hyped up like Josh Donaldson. And it was like 6 months ago, and his name was Kyle Lowry. 8 months ago, his name was Kyle Lowry. Will you forget that? Anyways, it's fucking pissing me off. Tired of it. Come on, Kansas City. Fucking wake up. Kansas City's got to pull their head out of their ass. They're fucking really treading water right now. Little tidbit on that Green Bay Kansas City game. Eddie Lacy is very questionable. I think he will suit up. I don't think he's going to be very effective. Same with Devontae Adams. I don't think he's going to be very effective either. Fantasy football players. He might snag you a touchdown in the red zone, but I don't think he might get you some receptions, but he ain't going to be stretching no field with that banged up ankle. So caution on Devontae Adams and Eddie Lacy. I'm sure the fantasy football players are all over it, seeing it's Monday. But those two guys are, Smith, they're both going to play. Eddie Lacy's got questionable, Adams got probable. They're both going to play. I just don't know how effective they will be. Look for Starks. Look for that rookie that came in and played last year. What's his name? Yeah. Can't even find it right now. Anyways, I want to get on to baseball. I want to get on some more picks. I'm a little, as you can see, even this, I'm a little all over the place. But anyways, on the diamond, as the season winds down to an end in Major League Baseball, and I just got off the Toronto Blue Jays rant. Yeah, the Blue Jays, yep, they've punched their ticket. They still need to secure the division, which they should wrap that up, I think, by Thursday or Friday. And speaking of the division, and speaking of the Toronto Blue Jays are in action against the Baltimore Orioles. Marco Estrada is on the mound for the AL East leading Toronto Blue Jays. Tillman's on the mound for the Orioles. Toronto Blue Jays are minus 130 road favorites. Over-under in this game is 8.5. I like the over 8.5. The Jays bats are red hot right now. Red hot. The Orioles, they don't really have anything to play for. They just got swept by the Red Sox. In embarrassing fashion, too. Embarrassing fashion. 3 games against the Red Sox. No earned runs. Absolutely fucking embarrassing for a professional team to go 21 innings of 28. I can't even count today. 28 innings of baseball. Sorry, 27. 9, 18, 27. See, I can't even count today. I'm all rattled. Just rattled. It's probably pretty entertaining, though. Been like this all day. I just haven't been able to get into it. You know, it's like, But 27 innings of baseball, no earned runs. That's absolutely pathetic. It's about as pathetic as me trying to count to 27. It's pretty pathetic. But I do think they wake up. They don't like the Toronto Blue Jays. They don't like them at all. Chris Tillman's been just absolutely lit up by the Jays, too. Tillman, no wins in his last 5 starts. He's allowed 5 runs or more in his last 5 starts. Hasn't even got down to the 6th inning in his last 5 starts against the Jays. It's not lining up good to him. I like the Jays bats to hit him all over the field, but I like the Orioles to battle back. This is the 4th time that they've seen Estrada this season. So they're going to be pretty familiar with his stuff. I think Estrada's hitting a little bit of a wall. Just a little bit of a wall. And I think the Orioles are going to have a little bit of a pride left in them. Showalter's going to... I'm sure Showalter fucking tore a strip off him. Gave him the old hairdryer fucking act. The old Fergie hairdryer act. Probably kicked the boot at one of them too. Probably did more than kick a boot. If my team fucking went fucking 27 innings without fucking getting a run. But, so yeah, I like the Jays over 8.5. Once again, the Jays are minus 130 road favorites. Over or under in this game is 8.5. I like the over. Head over to the NL. Lance Lynn's on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals. And they're playing their hated rival, the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's been baseball in the NL Central has been a good watch this year. If you haven't got to watch a whole lot of baseball out there, try watching some of this NL Central baseball. It's been excellent baseball between the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Cubs. They've just been slugging it out. Slugging it out. George Foreman, Muhammad Ali. George Foreman, Joe Frazier. Just slugging it out. Arturo Gotti, Mickey Ward. Just slugging it out. But anyways, Lance Lynn, the St. Louis Cardinals. They're in Pittsburgh to play the Pirates with Jay Happ on the mound. Pittsburgh's minus 145 favorites. Over-under in this game is 7. I like the over 7. Lance Lynn, he's been touched up a little bit by the Pittsburgh Pirates in his career. He's lost his last 2 decisions. Hasn't made it into the 5th inning. 5 runs or more in both of those. Jay Happ, throughout his career, St. Louis has banged him up. Hit him around the ballpark. He's only got 1 win in his last 5 decisions against the Pirates. That happened to be his last outing, which was pretty good. And only outing of the season. 7 innings pitched, no earned runs. But I look for that to not continue at all, and I look for the latter trends of not being able to get into the 6th inning and 4 earned runs or more in 4 of his starts. 4 of his last 5 starts against the Cardinals. So I look for that to continue. I look for both bats to be pretty hot tonight down there in Pittsburgh. Beautiful stadium they got down there. One of the best in the big leagues. I love watching Pittsburgh Pirates games. My last game for you. I had to think about this, yeah, just for a wee bit. I wasn't really sure. But the LA Dodgers are visiting the San Francisco Giants. The Dodgers are minus 155 favorites. I got them at minus 150. Over-under in this game is 6.5. Zach Greinke's on the mound for the LA Dodgers. He's absolutely owned the San Francisco Giants throughout his career. And that being said, though, the Giants are 5-0 straight up in their last 5, playing at home against the Dodgers. It's not a very good trend. We don't like that. The Giants are 13-6 in their last 19 at home. The Dodgers are 2-7 straight up in their last 9. The trends aren't going our way, except for the fact that Zach Greinke's just absolutely owned the Giants. Owned the Giants. He's only given up 6 runs in his last 5 starts. There's a couple shutouts thrown in there. Jake Peavy's on the mound for the Giants. He's taken a couple no decisions in his last couple outings against the Dodgers. They're pretty familiar with him. They banged them around the ballpark earlier this year. I look for the Dodgers to end their 3-game losing streak and start to get on a roll for the playoffs, especially with Greinke on the mound. I wouldn't be shocked if Greinke even pokes a couple hits out there. So before I end this with some NHL talk, not NHL, even though should be talking about some NHL. Lots of moves going down. Mitch Marner got sent down for the Leafs. There's some news for you. We all knew he was going. I thought they'd keep him around a little longer, to be honest with you. He's one of the more special guys. I thought they'd just give him the experience. But I got some more NFL talk for you. Got some MLB fights for you. We all like an MLB fight when they actually fight, not just run out of the dugout and stare at each other. I got some footy news for you. Spet Blatter. I want to talk about something pissing me off today, because that's the theme. Spet Blatter's pissing me off. Why can't this guy go away? Spet Blatter, just go away. But I'm going to recap my picks here for you before I move on to that talk. So, in the Monday Nighter, Kansas City Chiefs visiting the Green Bay Packers. Packers are minus 5.5 favorites. Over-under in this game is 47.5. I like the Kansas City Chiefs at plus 5.5. The Toronto Blue Jays, AL East leading Toronto Blue Jays, are on the road to visit the Baltimore Orioles. Estrada and Tillman are both on the mound. Jays are minus 130 road favorites. Over-under in this game is 8.5. I like the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles to go over the total. So I like the over 8.5. St. Louis Cardinals facing division rivals Pittsburgh Pirates in Pittsburgh. Pirates are minus 145 favorites. Over-under in this game is 7. I like over the total. That's over 7. Let's cash these. Hopefully, Mr. Lord Gambler, you're in for a good night. And finally, the LA Dodgers with Zach Greinke on the mound are in San Francisco to play the Giants. Greinke has absolutely owned the Giants in his career. I got him at minus 150. It's up to minus 150 at 5 now. The Dodgers are road favorites. The over-under in this game is 6.5. Said I like the Dodgers at minus 155. Let's just fly through some NFL tidbits. We had some pretty damn good games. I watched the Atlanta Falcons make a comeback against the Cowboys. Like that. Cash a ticket for the Falcons. He said we went 5-6 last night. Pretty good night. Bills cash, Vikings cash, Falcons cash. Indianapolis Colts teased to the over cashed. Jumped in on the Denver Broncos and the Sunday Nighter cashed. Pretty good night. Who didn't have a pretty good day was Ben Roethlisberger. Looks like Ben Roethlisberger got a grade 2 sprain of the MCL, it looks like. At least he avoided major damage to the ACL, which would rule them out all year. He'll probably be out good 8 weeks or so. I'd say at least with a grade 2 MCL sprain. You don't want to be messing around with a quarterback's knees anyways. So that means Mike Vick's going to step up and in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They squeaked down a 12-6 win over St. Louis. I like St. Louis. And yesterday, I think that was my one that didn't cash. No, the Baltimore Ravens. That's who I was on. I was going to take St. Louis, but I said nah. I was on the Baltimore Ravens. Talk about a sad-ass, poor-ass team. Baltimore. Fucking letting Cincinnati come out to a 14-0 lead. Smoking them all over the place. Fuck, I had AJ Green in my fantasy team. Going into halftime, he had zeros across the board. Coming out of halftime, he had like 200 plus yards. Like 8 receptions. Just fucking torched fucking Baltimore in the second half. Baltimore's looking like a shell of their former championship self. I'm sure all the Joe Flacco haters out there are chuckling right now, saying, look at me, told you so. I think they'll come around, though. They're going to be like a 9-7 team, the Baltimore Ravens. I think they'll come around. They still have to play the Brownies twice, too, right? Another team that's looking pretty sad is the Detroit Lions. So it wasn't just Sue, eh? It wasn't just Ndamukong Suh. Even though the Miami Dolphins fucking are probably going, oh fuck, man, should we be bankrolling this guy's finance or what, man? Because like he's not really making much of an impact in Miami either. And that commentator out there, he really tried to make an effort to say how good Ndamukong Suh was playing, because I know he is one of the big names in the NFL. People know who he is. I like his mean streak. Do I think he's as good as he thinks he is? No. Is he as good as he's getting paid? Probably not. Do the Lions miss him? Probably. Because they're definitely not the same without him. There's something wrong there. There's something wrong. Stafford looks beat up. Megatron looks a little slow. Megatron looks slow. Ebron's basically been their most potent weapon, their tight end for the Lions. But Manning played it patient. Manning played it calm. Touchdowns Owen Daniels. Touchdowns to Demaryius Thomas, sorry. Key touchdowns at key times, like with 5 seconds left in the first half to Demaryius Thomas. Key, backbreaker. Manning had a little bit more of a Manning day. 31 of 42, 324, 2 TDs, did throw 1 pick, but his arm strength isn't quite what it used to be, and he's still gonna throw those same passes. It's just they're gonna get picked off every now and then. Denver's defense came to play, led by Aqib Talib and DeMarcus Ware. Von Miller had a pretty quiet day. He had an invisible day. He got a late sack, probably make his stats look a little bit better. But this is definitely DeMarcus Ware and Aqib Talib leading this defense. The Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. Philadelphia Eagles. I knew there was no way the New York Jets could go 3-0. I was just looking at it when I was doing my pro line pools and stuff. We just got to pick the outright winner. I'm just like, there's no way that I ever thought I thought I could see crazier things happening in this. I could see Indy struggling. Sweet, doesn't shock me. Doesn't shock me at all to see Indy struggling. But to see the New York Jets at 2-0 with the possibility of going 3-0 against the Philadelphia Eagle team that's been kind of pushed around the first 2 weeks, I thought, no way. So good on you, Chip Kelly. Way to dig deep. Still don't think you're going to make the playoffs, Philadelphia. But I think you still got a little bit of fight left in you. I made a bet with DeMarco Murray. I thought he'd have more fantasy points than Matt Forte. And Brody, my man, from GM. Brody from GM. I think you're right, bud. I think you're right on this one. I think DeMarco Murray's not a little bit overrated, but big time overrated. I think he's got an ego issue. I think a lot of it was the Dallas Cowboy line. And it seems like he doesn't want to put the effort into it. It just doesn't seem like it. Just his body language. When I see him trying to warm up, his body language just didn't look like he wanted to give everything he had to go out there and play. And talking about giving everything you have to go out there and play, on the diamond, we don't get a whole lot of fights. Usually it's bench brawls and guys just jawing at each other and looking at each other. Usually the best fights in baseball sometimes between teammates. This is exactly what we had with Bryce Harper and Jonathan Papelbon. Jonathan Papelbon, he got traded to Washington at the trade deadline. So he's only been there, month and a half? He's a vet. Couple World Series rings in Boston. Here's a quiet guy off the outside the clubhouse. Here's a really quiet guy outside the clubhouse. Family man. Big time family man. I think he's somewhat quiet inside the clubhouse unless he's got something to say. I don't think he's afraid to say something when he's got something to say. He's one of those guys when Jonathan Papelbon speaks up that you listen. I think some people think he's an asshole or a douchebag because of that. But I don't mind it because he's quiet otherwise. You usually don't hear him ruffling the feathers too much unless people aren't pulling their own weight. And is this a little exaggerated? Yeah. I think a lot of it's pent-up frustration with the Nationals. On a whole, all-around game. But basically, I could play this for you.
Bryce Harper flies out for the first out of the inning. Now Harper kind
this is courtesy Fox Sports here.
Into first, then heads back to the dugout. Jonathan Papelbon takes exception to his lack of hustle and lets Harper know about it. Harper barks back at him, and then watch what ensues afterwards. Look out!
So basically, if you didn't catch that, Harper flew out, kind of eyed up his fly ball. Then he decided to, I better get out in the batter's box. Trots down the batter's box.
Flies out for the
looks down on the ground,
Now Harper kind of a
slow jog, kind of like fuck me kind of jog. Poor me kind of jog. It was, but he was still jogging down there. It's been a long season. But he gets back to the dugout and Papelbon is just chewing him out the whole way. Obviously, he says something to him that kind of catches his attention. Because at first it looked like Harper was just going to walk by and say none of it. But then Harper turns and jaws back at him. Papelbon fucking squares him up. Says, oh yeah, big boy? Grabs him, pins him up against, tries to give him the jersey kind of punch, the little forearm, into the face a little bit. Pins him up against the wall. Harper's eyes look pretty fucking scared, to be honest with you. They're pretty bug-eyed. Like, holy shit. Like what I'm doing right now. Like, holy shit. His teammates broke it up. Both teammates have played it down. I think a lot of this will fall on the... I think a lot of this will fall on the manager, Matt Williams. He won the Manager of the Year in 2014, and now he's a lousy manager in 2015. I don't think he was a good manager in 2014, just that's how the chips fell. He had a pretty dominant pitching staff. That's just how the chips fell. That's what happens, When you take a team that, is not expected to do a whole lot, and they come together and they do something, you get Manager of the Year. But I think he's been overrated. He's hot-headed. I like his old schoolness, but it just doesn't work in this day and age. Even for me, I understand. That stuff does not work with these ball players in this day and age. Or any professional player, for that matter. It may work with a few still. But for the most part, it's not going to work. I think it's a toxic clubhouse in there. I think there's a lot of cliques. I think Williams knows it. I wouldn't be shocked if he's the first manager to go. come the first day after the regular season ends. So check that out. It's pretty interesting. They're both just, playing it down, saying we're a family, it's a family matter. In-house, we'll solve it. Like Harper, he's had a good year. I can see him being a sulker sometimes. And I can see Papelbon seeing that. They're talking about in here whether Harper gets enough respect around the baseball world. He's young. He'll earn it. He's got a respect from a lot of media pundits who's saying he's a great baseball player, he's having a good year, etc., etc. But it's a different thing trying to earn the respect of your teammates inside the clubhouse. Some of them don't give a shit about your fucking stats. Some of them care about who you are as a person, how you represent yourself on the field and off the field. That's what they care about. But I'll move on from that. Check the old Bryce Harper, Jonathan Papelbon situation out. Lay your own opinion down on it. I kind of like to see that emotion. So I do think Papelbon can come across as an asshole, but he's type of guy I think I wouldn't mind having a couple beers with and shooting the shit. Seems like he's a pretty quiet guy outside the clubhouse and inside the clubhouse. Unless he's got something to say, because he ain't afraid to say it. Just going to wrap this up with a little bit of quick footy talk. Manchester United's finally at the top of the table. After a nice performance against Sunderland, it wasn't anything special. 3-0 victory. But that's Sunderland. Sunderland's horrible. It's nice to see Wayne Rooney, though. And in their goal droughts. Very nice to see. Just checking some things out here right now. Phil Jones slowly making his way back into the lineup. I like to see that as well. We're going to need you, Phil, especially with Champions League this week. I wouldn't be shocked if you get your first spot in the starting 11. Your first chance being starting 11, Phil. I wouldn't be shocked. Memphis Depay. He popped one in just before half. He's growing. He's showing that he's not all goals. He's got more to his game than just goals, Memphis Depay. Works hard defensively. He does. He's not selfish. He'll definitely pass the ball off. He basically tapped in a nice cutback pass from Juan Mata off a brilliant cross. Brilliant cross that went into the box. Mata, he could have volleyed it on goal if he felt like it, but nope. Volleyed it over, crossed the goal. Depay came running in, tapped her in. Not too bad, not too bad. Rooney's goal, as I mentioned, ending his goal-scoring drought. Ties in with Denny's Law. For United's league-leading goal-scoring record, 171. As if you aren't aware, he just topped England's goal-scoring record, passing Sir Bobby Charlton with his 50th goal of the campaign. David De Gea had a fine performance in goal. It's like he's never left. That would have been a big blow to United if they lost De Gea. That would have been a huge blow. Huge blow. He made some big saves in that game even. Ah. game I was watching. Sorry, a match I was watching not too long ago was West Brom hosting Everton. Good game. Good match. Thrilling match, actually, for a Monday. The Toffees, down 2-1. Half hour to go in the game. Came storming back for a 3-2 victory. Romelu Lukaku, big influence on the game. Big influence. Scored the winner from across from Gerald Delafalu, former Barca player. He actually netted a brace, Lukaku. He does this. He's a very streaky goal scorer, but his droughts don't last long. That's the thing about it. His droughts just don't last long, which is nice to see. He's a young striker still. He's got big ambitions. I like to see Delafeu get a start. This guy's got some game to him. This guy's a tricky little player. He's a tricky player. I like to see it. I think he adds something to Everton that Everton haven't had, and that's a guy that's willing to take a guy one-on-one and get a cross in. You know, he's not all about playing the long ball. He likes to hold on the ball and use possession. He'll use his speed and his skill and his flair to beat a guy one-on-one to get a cross in for Lukaku. Something Everton hasn't had in a while. They've had a lot of straight and direct players. Straight and direct players. Just want to go over the City game because it was a huge game. The City game. If it wants to work, Jesus Christ. Like I tell you what, man. It's just been one of those days where nothing wants to work properly. Alright. I move on from that. I give up on that. Stay with the footy news, though. Like I mentioned earlier, I woke up to this news, which just got me in a bad mood anyways. Basically. But Sepp Blatter just won't go away. He's under investigation by Switzerland now. He was just interrogated for the last 3 days, which is nice. I wonder how his interrogation went. Do you want some bourbon? Or Pinot Noir? Or whatever that, some of that, you want some Chardonnay? Chardonnay? You want some Chardonnay? You want some cognac? You want some cognac, President Blatter? He's probably pumping all that stuff down. Basically, he was questioned by Swiss investigators why FIFA paid 2 million Swiss francs to UEFA President Michel Platini, 2011. For work that was supposedly carried out 9 years earlier. Interesting. The biggest thing that's going down is that Blatter says he's got no immediate plans to step down, even with this interrogation going on. We all know he's guilty. The noose is starting to tighten around the neck, especially if Michel Platini, the UEFA president's getting dragged into this. If he's getting dragged into this, he ain't going down without a fight. The captain will be going down with the ship if Michel Platini is going down with the ship. I can guarantee you that much. UEFA will not stand by that. UEFA will have no problem throwing Platini under the bus, but they will make sure Blatter goes with them. It's one thing to start messing around with CONCACAF. But once UEFA's getting involved, the big boy that FIFA watches over, then some people's heads are going to start to turn. Some real information is going to start coming out, and the fingers will start to get pointed because nobody's just going to let their boy go down with the ship without bringing somebody else with them. And that includes Michel Platini and Spet Blatter. Very interesting. I know Jack Warner doesn't have a whole lot of nice things to say right now about President Blatter. I think he feels like he was thrown under the bus. He's the former vice president of FIFA. A lot of money changed hands in some of these World Cup rights that were awarded to certain countries and campaign donors and partners. There's a lot going down in FIFA. There's a lot of problems, and people are scrambling right now. October 26th is the deadline for candidates to take over for Spet Blatter whenever he decides to step down, which I think is going to be a story, an interesting story in its own right, how that is all going to be handled. Because I don't think he's going to go down without a fight either, Mr. Spet Blatter. Oh, no. He ain't got nothing to lose now, really. He ain't got much to lose now. That's pissing me off. Spet Blatter, just go away, please. Just go away. Another thing, it kind of made me laugh, though, a little bit. This thing kind of made me laugh, kind of cheered me up. Arsene Wenger, he's refusing to unite his war of words with Jose Mourinho. Mourinho's basically just ripping the shit out of him. Saying he can't talk to officials, but Arsene Wenger can. Stole a spat over the Gabriel Costa situation. Give it to Mourinho, though. He backs his players to no end. He'll show some fire when he needs to show some fire. He'll stay nice, cool, and calm when he has to stay nice, cool, and calm. I wish I dug up some of those quotes for Mourinho. It was about sometime last week I was reading them. He was just ripped them. It was after it was last Monday actually. No, sorry. It wasn't last Monday. It was after the cup actions. So yeah, it was probably like last Thursday or Friday. He was just ripping the shit out of Arsenal. I'll see if I can pull it up. But my problem with this is not with what Mourinho's saying and stuff like that. My problem is with Arsene Wenger and Arsenal. I might get some shit for this, but no wonder Arsenal are a bunch of pussies. Because their manager is a pussy. A lot of times the team takes on the persona of the manager. And if the manager looks weak in his fights, doesn't look like he's going to give it all, doesn't look like he's going to draw a line in the sand and plant his feet in the ground and said, if you walk over that line, you got a problem. No, too often, Arsene Wenger is turning his back. Too often. You don't always have to be going out and looking for and picking fights. But if somebody picks a fight, you got to stand up. You got to show your team. You got to show to your players you're willing to stand up and fight for them. Fight for yourself. Like Fergie. Like Jose Mourinho. Like Jurgen Klopp. Like Matt Bubsey. Alan Pardew. Alan Pardew is an excellent example about standing up for his teams and fighting and taking managers on. Always takes managers on. Always. And his team seems to take a persona of fighting to the end for him. Yeah, they use some skill and some flair, but they never give up. They never back down to a fight or a challenge. Not like Arsene Wenger and Arsenal. Far too often do they get pushed around. Far too often when they have the chance to stand up to a team like Dinamo Zagreb. And they say, no, sorry, no. Beating your arch rivals in a cup game is one thing to get up for. But far too often you let smaller teams push you around, Arsenal. I think a lot of it has to do with your manager getting pushed around too. So Arsene Wenger, I think you got to stand up for yourself and for your team. You're a good manager. Stand up to him. Say, hey, I'm a good manager. And give him the finger. Tell him off. Say, hey, let's go. Let's go. I think Arsenal supporters would love to see that out of you, Wagner. Would love to see some fire in your belly, Wagner. And on that note, I'm going to try and wrap this up. Voice, held up pretty good. I'm a little beat down today. As you can see, some things are a little off keel. Not bad, though. Pretty good performance. Way better than my audition in the morning. Tell you that much. I can be myself here, too. I can be myself. But I just want to wrap things up. With NASA announcing they've... officially, they think they can confirm it. They got the stats and the facts all, ready to rock and roll. Getting them all together. But they can basically confirm that they found signs of liquid water on Mars. There might be some flowing liquid water under some of those ice sheets. And you might think, well, even me, I'm like, well, fuck, man. Mars is pretty damn cold. Pretty damn cold. Like, how the hell can water be even, there flowing at one point, but how can it be flowing now? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the whole scientific part about it, I guess. But I think water would have to form ice, I don't think that amount would form without it being warm. So I got two theories here. Bear with me. I got two theories and I'll let you go. So, the first one's not really a theory, it's a fact. Basically, this liquid water that they've kind of found under these polar ice caps and stuff, they've absorbed a lot of salt, which allows it to flow underneath. Where it's a little bit warmer. And obviously, we got salt water here on Earth. This water has absorbed a hell of a lot more salt, put it that way. And when it's like minus 63 degrees Celsius down there on Mars, it's still able to flow. Pretty cool. I can believe it, especially when I don't really have any stats or figures. We're going to say it's probably pretty fucking deep below that surface of the ice shields. But another thing is, they think there was liquid water on Mars at one point. They really do. So, for that to happen, that means Mars would have to be warm at one point. Because, when it's minus 63 degrees Celsius, I don't care what anyone says. Water is water. H2O is H2O. It doesn't matter if it's on Earth or Mars. It has a freezing point. It's going to freeze. So, it makes you start to think, was Mars at one point maybe a little bit closer to the Earth? The sun? Was the Earth at one point maybe a little bit closer to the sun, and that's why it took a little time for things to evolve as we started to get away from the sun and everything balanced itself, It's interesting. It's interesting. So maybe at one point Mars was closer, and it was just, making its way further from the sun slowly with its gravitational pull, right? Until it found its, water always finds its level. It found its level, its sweet spot. It's not going to keep, pulling away from the sun, because the sun has just enough gravity to keep in that one orbit. So maybe at one point everything was a little closer to the sun with the Big Bang. Not everything just went boom and bam, they just stayed in one spot. So maybe that's how there was some water. Maybe that's why it took a little longer for life to evolve on Earth. Maybe that's why, a lot of people say Earth was probably pretty dry at one point. It would explain large oceans at one point too as well. Because it would be hot and a lot of precipitation and humid after a while. So that's interesting. I like to see the stuff going down on Mars. Very fascinating. Just in time. See, NASA ain't stupid. NASA ain't stupid. Following Hollywood. Hollywood's about to release that Martian movie. Remember NASA, they released this stuff. People are, the mainstream media, the mainstream audience. They're aware of some Mars movie coming out. They see a NASA Mars announcement. They're still interested in it. It works. They're smart that way. Gotta hand it to their advertising and marketing group. But enough with NASA. I'm going to go kick my feet up. This has been another edition of The Block. You can find my work at KJ_TheBlock. Find my work on my blog site, KyleJohnstonTheBlock.wordpress.com. I'm looking forward to a good Monday night football game tonight. And remember, if you're not laying the money down on the table, you're not winning.